channel. So on this video, we are going to try to get this thing running. All of this has happened over the course of a few days. So we're going to get the gas tank pulled out. We're going to make sure it's cleaned out real well, see what type of shape it's in, and then we will go from there. Hopefully we can reuse it, replace some fuel line because our fuel line is crusty and breaking and brittle, and then we will hopefully be able to fire this thing up using the key in the ignition for the first time in who knows how long. So I'm real excited for that. It's just one step closer to getting this thing moving on its own power. So I hope you guys enjoy the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you have any feedback or any comments. Drop them down below. And that's it. We'll talk to y'all later. Enjoy the video. Back. So we are going to pull these clamps off. There's a bolt here, there, and there in the corners. We're going to get this tank out so we can take a closer look at it and see what type of shape it's in. You can see we got all kinds of dirt and gunk in here. See if you can tell. Focus. Yeah, it's pretty nasty in there, so we're gonna need to clean this thing out before we can use it. So that's kind of a bummer. Hopefully there's no holes in it. Alright, so it has been a couple days since we pulled this tank out of the Beetle. I just got done washing it out with water just to get all the loose rust out. So now I'm going to pour some Evapo-Rust in it, and we're going to let this sit for quite a few hours, see if we can get this rust out. I'll zoom in so you guys can see kind of what it looks like now, and then we'll see what it looks like after the Evapo-Rust. I'm hoping this will get it real good and clean so that we can throw some fuel in it and not have to worry about running a bottle to our carburetor, our fuel pump in there to keep this thing running. It'll help a little bit with tuning it as well. So, alright, so also I plugged the holes on the bottom, and I have the tank sitting as flat as possible. Alright, so after we pour it in, you can see it's nice and bubbly down there. Hopefully it's getting to work, getting that rust cleaned out. Alright, so we're going to let this sit and let it do its thing. I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in there too so we can get the rust cleaned off of the sending unit for the fuel gauge as well. What we might have to end up doing is we might have to let it sit like this for a little while, flip it up, let it sit another way, flip it over, and let it sit other ways just so we can make sure we get all the rust off. The top doesn't feel very rusty at all, actually, but we still might do it just to be on the safe side. Just have to make sure all my holes are plugged real well. So. Alright, so it's been 24 hours since we put the Evapo-Rust in the gas tank. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it up. I'm going to pop the cap off and see how it looks. Hopefully it's clear. Well, I'm not super impressed. Let's see if I can get it to focus. You can still see it's pretty rough in there.
So I'm not sure why it didn't do better than that. A couple of the videos I saw about this stuff, it did a lot better. So I'm gonna rinse it out and see. Maybe that'll help. All right, so the water is coming out clear, so that's good. I'm not getting any debris out anymore either, but I'm still not liking how that looks inside of there. It's very textured and pitted. Maybe that's normal, I'm not sure. I might throw some type of tank coating in here to seal any of that could come loose from getting in the gas lines. Coat the inside with this red coat. I've used this on motorcycle gas tanks before and it works really well. So we're going to do it on this to make sure the inside's coated well before we put it back in the Beetle. So let's get started. Let's tape it up and then we'll pour it in. All right, so I'm gonna try to show y'all inside what it's like. It'll focus, there you go. You can see kind of a protective coating down there on everything. Through here. You can see up in there, everything's coated. Focus, focus. Kind of hard to do, but coating it there. So we'll let it dry and go from there. All right, good morning. What's up, everyone? So this morning we are going to go ahead and get the gas tank put back in. Wanted to get fuel line to be able to get this thing running off of the gas tank, but I've went to a bunch of auto parts stores. No one has fuel line, so apparently we have a fuel line shortage as well as everything else shortage. So what we're going to do is I did have enough left over to rerun the line that runs to the hard line up into the tank, so I went ahead and replaced that. But then the rest of the fuel line will not be able to do it. So what we might look at doing is trying to just get it running using a bottle of gasoline, just so we can hear this thing run. So first let's get the gas tank put in. We'll get this hooked back up, and then maybe we'll work on getting this sucker to try to run until I can get some fuel line, and then we'll get it not wired up, but we'll get the fuel line on it so that we can just turn the key and let the fuel from the tank get this thing running instead of from the fuel bottle. So, all right, well, let's get started. We'll get this tank put back in. that's that. Like I said, I need to get my straps for that as well. I need to run me a little vent line right here. And then other than that, once I get the rest of the fuel line ran, we should be good to go. We should be able to put fuel in here and hopefully run off the tank. For now, let's head to the back. I'm gonna run to the store real quick, and then we'll head to the back and we will try to get this thing to fire up. Alright, so we're going to try it again. I think that my timing was off. I had this marked as the number 1 cylinder right here, but it's actually this one back here, so that threw me off. So I switched all the plugs around to where they should be. This is 1, 4, 3, and 2 back here. So we're going to give it another try. Alright, so I messed with the timing a little bit, turned it that way a tad bit, so it still wasn't sounding right when I was trying to fire, so we'll give it another try. Excuse me. That sounded pretty good. Alright, so we found some fuel line. AutoZone for the win on that one. So what we're going to do now, you heard it running already using just the fuel in the bottle. So now we want to get it running off of gas in the gas tank. So let's get the fuel line ran. I'm not going to show that whole process. I'll show y'all where I ran it. Also show you where I'm going to put my inline fuel filter as well. I don't have that. I totally spaced when I got the fuel line. I was so excited that we actually had fuel line that I forgot to get the fuel filter. So I'll have to get that. I'll show you where I'm going to put that. And then we'll put some gas in here and we will turn it over and we'll use the throttle cable in the car and we'll see if we can get this thing to fire up from the inside of the car, not on a fuel bottle, just like it's supposed to. So, alright, here we go. Hopefully we can get this done today. Alright, since we still don't have a floor back here, it's made it very easy. So as you can see right there, there is where the hard line comes out. We put our soft line from there to there. I'm going to throw my fuel line right here, or my fuel filter right here in line with this somewhere, just so it's not up in the engine compartment. So I need to do that still, so that's not there yet. And then up front, I'll show you what we got. All right, and up front, I had a part of a hard line right there. Not really sure where that routed, so I just stuck it around the corner there. I almost feel like it should have went in through that fan shroud, through like there's like a little hole right here, but I couldn't figure out how to get it in there, and I did not want to take the fan shroud back off. So there's that. Get the fuel line running all the way to our fuel pump right there and up to the carburetor. I'm gonna dump a little bit of fuel in the carburetor, just kind of help get it primed up. I'm hoping it'll fire up pretty quick since we just had it running off of the fuel bottle. So I'll set the camera up and see what we get. All right, fingers crossed. So give it some gas and see what happens. All right, so we got it fired up. You're probably thinking, wow, that fired up really fast. Well, I think it was a combination of I tested it one time before I actually started recording, let the fuel pump for a little bit, and it almost fired. And so I stopped and was like, well, thing's about to crank up, so let me stop and so I can record it. So I think it has something to do with that. And then I also think it has a lot to do with the fact that we just got it running off of the fuel bottle as well. Got the ambulance going by. Hope everything's okay. Hate when you hear that around the holiday season, you know. So anyway, just keep whoever that is in our prayers. But yeah, so that's basically why it fired up so fast. I almost had it fired up before I started recording as well. I just wanted you guys to experience that first fire up along with me. So I'm super excited. We got one step closer to actually getting this thing running on its own power. Super excited about that. So thank y'all for watching. Please subscribe, please share the channel. If you're watching it, please subscribe. This might be the last video that I do before Christmas. So if that's the case, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Y'all enjoy your time with your family, and we will see you guys on the next one. Take care. God bless.